All right, we finished up the problem statement. Now we're ready to go ahead and do the flow chart. And again, I've pre-built a bunch of it, so that things that you don't need to watch me do anymore. So we have our um, constant values here. We added one more constant value, and that is how are we going to get into the loop? And we get into the loop this way. How do we get out of the loop? We get out using the another customer. So I would build that first. And of course, then how do we know we're out of the loop? Keep looping. And then I would test it and see that I can get in, I can stay in, and I can get out. Then the next step would be to start building the loop. One would be the next thing I would do with customer count, and I'd have customer count here. And then I would test it and make sure that it is working. And then the next step I would do is start doing the accumulations, and that I need number of tickets and ticket type. Then I would say, well, if it's an orchestra ticket, what do we need to do? And we have that. Let me go ahead and move this right here. So if I need to assign the rate and then do the accumulator. Now notice down here we also have this orc sales. I'm going to put that inside the loop also, so that I can test when someone types in orchestra, it assigns the rate, it accumulates the tickets. It can take those tickets and then tell me how much the sales are, and it shows here the number of tickets for orchestra and the number and the sales of orchestra. Then when we go down a little bit farther, I'm going to take the ticket rate and I'm going to figure out the customer owes and the total amount that we've collected so far. And then I'm going to output how much the customer owes, the customer count, how much money we've collected. So you can see that I'm building each part. Again, I'm not building and testing as much as I would, because this has already been 2.5 minutes, and it would probably take me at least 10 minutes to go through all of that. But you've seen it before. I'm just telling you that just because it's built the way it is not how I would normally do it. I would do it one piece at a time, testing as I go, to ensure that if a mistake happens, if an error comes up, I can squash it because I know the last thing I did. So let's see what we have so far. I have 10 tickets, and it's orchestra. So you can see that this decision works. Tickets, number of tickets is 10, so that's my ticket accum. 10 times 50 is 500. Customer owes 500. Number of customers is 1. Amount collected so far is 500. And now I'm going to see if I can go around again. And I'll do another 10 tickets and orchestra. Oops. Be careful with case. Oops. Gotta be close. Whew. So now I have 20 tickets. I've collected 500, so that's 1,000. Customer owns only 500 because this is the second customer. There's 2 customers, and we collected a total of $1,000. So you can see that everything we've built so far works. So the next thing I'm going to do is not reinvent the wheel. Since that works, I'm simply going to copy this. I'm going to paste it over here. The next thing we're going to do is floor. So I'll copy that, paste it in here, and every place I see orch, I will put floor in, because I've done a good job at naming so that I can do this simply. And you should consider that when you're doing your naming of your variables. Think ahead, saying, I'm going to have to do a bunch of copy and pasting. So let's make sure I'm consistent with my names so that I can do this kind of programming rather than having to do a bunch of typing. I don't care that that's not a capital F. This is my flowchart. I'm the only one that sees it, but I need to make sure that everything's working. Where this will come in is when I copy and paste it into my code, I'll have to change that to a capital letter. Big deal. All right, so now we're going to be doing floor, 10 tickets, and paste in floor, 10 tickets, 400, 400, 1, 400. Yes, 10 tickets. Floor, close quote. And now we got 20, and 400 times 2 is 8, and they owe 400, and there's 2 customers, and 800 was collected. So that's exactly how you go through and do each one. Now I'll copy this, paste it here, copy lower, and change everything again. I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead and do that without you watching to keep this video a little. All right, so I took a break and we had finished the floor last time. I just went ahead and copied that, pasted it over here, built this, tested it. And then when I got finished with that, I went ahead and I selected, well, not that much. Hello. Uh, so I selected this, I copied it, pasted it over here to the false side, and got the rest. And I tested each one. So I didn't waste your time watching me do all that. You should by now know that that is the build and test methodology. Very frustrating for me when a student sends me their flowchart and says, I don't know what's gone wrong. And I take a look at it and there's errors in every single one of their paths and they're all different. That means that they wasted hours and hours of their time when they should have been doing the build and test, but they don't do it. What can I say? All right, so what's the next thing we need to do is we need to do our error checking and error trapping. So if they didn't type in one of the values there, then I'm going to say, whoops, you typed space, and then I'm going to join that with ticket type, and then I'm going to join that with quote space, you should have typed, and then, well, it's easier, I'll come in and just copy this. Everything's been tested, so, and then I have to close that quote. All right, next thing I got to do is then make an assignment to raise the error flag. And that's going to be equal to 1. And I can test it real quick just to see if it works. 10 tickets, dog. I forgot my quotes. And you can see I typed dog and I should have typed that. So we can see that it's working. But again, we don't want to have all that other stuff go on. So we have to come over here. And we have to say, well, I don't want all this happening if an error occurs. So here I'm going to say, I should have copy and pasted, error flag equals 0. Okay, if no errors occurs, I want this to happen. What do I want to happen over here? Remember before we copy and pasted that error message, but note this time. This time what we want to do is we want to put an assignment to reset the flag. All right, very important that you reset the flag, or whenever an error occurs, if you don't have this here, your application will never work again because it'll always be set to 1, which means it'll always go here no matter what kind of stuff they typed in, which is very frustrating for the user. So you always want to reset the flag. That's the only thing we're going to do. All right, let's go ahead and test to see if we've broken it. So we want 10, floor, number of tickets, 4 tickets, customer owes. So customer owes, now we're down into this part here. That's that output there. So it did enter in correctly and everything is working exactly how we anticipated. So then we can say yes, and 10, and floor, and now we have, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Okay, let's try this again. I just can't make a mistake, I guess. So 10 dog. There we go. Now we have an error. And now we can come back and put in the right thing. And everything's working perfect. So if we hadn't put the error flag equals 0 here, after I made that dog problem, it would have came back. I would have put in the orchestra tickets, but it would never have gone down and did this. It would have just went ahead and asked them for the next ticket. And very frustrating because none of your stuff would work. All right. Well, that's it for that. Now, we're going to start coding it this way, but our code is actually going to be a lot different than our flowchart. And that's because this right here and this right here doesn't need to be in there. But we're going to put it in there anyway, and then we're going to change it on our final. So it's probably going to take us 2 videos to do our code because we're going to take our time, build and test, and then do our final product.